Welcome back to another edition of From the Heart. In today's study of the book of Luke, the message comes from the book of Luke 1 verses 5 to 7. Luke, a physician, offers valuable insights into Jesus' interactions with others, capturing the essence of his teachings and impact on people's lives. The setting of most of the events Luke wrote about took place in Galilee and Judea. Luke 1 verses 5 to 7 states, "In the time of Herod king of Judea there was a priest named Zechariah, who belonged to the priestly division of Abijah. His wife Elizabeth was also a descendant of Aaron. Both of them were righteous in the sight of God, observing all the Lord's commands and decrees blamelessly. But they were childless because Elizabeth was not able to conceive, and they were both very old." This passage introduces us to Zechariah and Elizabeth, a couple who lived during a significant time in history. Zechariah was a priest who served in the temple in Jerusalem. His lineage is traced back to the priestly division of Abijah. This division was responsible for specific duties related to temple worship. Zechariah was a faithful man, dedicated to following God's commands. Elizabeth, Zechariah's wife, was also a descendant of Aaron, the brother of Moses and the first high priest of Israel. Like her husband, Elizabeth was known for her righteousness and obedience to God's laws. Zechariah and Elizabeth faced a heartbreaking challenge despite their faithfulness. They had no children. In that culture, having children was highly significant, and infertility was often seen as a personal and societal burden. The passage emphasizes that they were both very old. Their unwavering faith in God's plan, despite their personal disappointment, is truly inspiring. Their longing for a child persisted as the years went by. Now, let's reflect on the deeper meanings and lessons we can draw from this passage. There is value in having faith amid adversity. Zechariah and Elizabeth's faith remained steadfast even in the face of disappointment. They continued serving God faithfully, trusting His plan even when their desires seemed unfulfilled. Next, remember God's timing. Sometimes, God's timing doesn't align with our expectations. Zechariah and Elizabeth waited patiently, unaware that their story was about to take an extraordinary turn. Spoiler alert. Later in Luke 1, we learn that God answered their prayers miraculously. Elizabeth conceived and gave birth to John the Baptist, who would prepare the way for Jesus. It turns out Zechariah and Elizabeth's childlessness was part of God's grand plan, which unfolded in a way they could never have anticipated. This is a powerful reminder that God's timing is always perfect, even when it seems to contradict our expectations. With that in mind, let's explore how we can apply the example of Zechariah and Elizabeth to our lives. First, we can endeavor to be patient. Like Zechariah and Elizabeth, we may face seasons of waiting and uncertainty. Trusting God's timing, even when it feels long, is essential. He knows what's best for us. Next, we can show faithfulness and hope. Our faithfulness matters, even when circumstances seem challenging, even when there appears to be no end in sight, even when we don't feel we have the strength to endure a moment longer. Remember this. God sees our hearts and honors our obedience to His timing. So never let go of hope. Even in those moments, when life feels weary, we can hold on to our faith and hope that our heart's desire will come true. God specializes in turning barrenness into abundance. He knows each of us best. He knows our heart's desire. So trust and believe that His answer will come at the proper time. Dear listeners, as we navigate this earthly journey, remember we're all fellow travelers, sometimes stumbling, sometimes soaring, but always learning and growing together. Remember that faith is not about having all the answers. It's about trusting in God's purpose for your life, trusting the unseen, and finding meaning in your journey. This trust can bring a sense of peace and reassurance in the midst of life's uncertainties. Thank you for joining me on this enlightening excursion through parts of the Bible. I await your unique perspective on the book of Luke, chapter 1, verses 5 through 7. Your distinct interpretation of the passages is a valuable addition to our discussion. So let's engage in a meaningful conversation so that we might learn and grow together. I encourage you to share your reflections on the book of Luke, as it will foster a sense of community and promote engagement. Your active participation is what will make our community vibrant. As you go about your day, please find strength in the words shared. Go in peace, and may the armor of God always be with you. This message is from the heart. Also, I invite you to consider liking and subscribing to this channel. Doing so will help grow our community and foster a space for meaningful discussion of the Word of God. I encourage you to invite others interested in deepening their faith and engaging in meaningful conversations. Until next time, bye for now.